calcium can be pulled inside the cell, and when it comes into the cell, all the other minerals piggyback on the back of it. What about glucose? Glucose can't get into the cell by itself. It needs insulin. Insulin's the key that unlocks the door to allow the glucose inside the cell. How many people today are sick through ignorance? How many people are not drinking water because their feet swell or they're visiting the little house? If you have that little bit of magnesium in the form of the Celtic salt 3 times a day, the water will get into the cell and the feet won't swell, and the person's not visiting the little house quite as much. But how many do not realize that? So they're not drinking enough water, they're not having the whole salt, and the highest source of magnesium in the vegetable kingdom is your dark greens. They're not in the sunshine because many Aussies are scared of the sun today. One lady told me that every time she goes out to put the clothes on the line, she has a hat on, sunglasses, white gloves, so the sun's not even touching her. So many people are vitamin D deficient. As a result, calcium and mineral deficient. Do you remember on our first lecture, I showed you that a lot of research is showing that 92% of DNA damage is from the mineral deficiency. Is it because of the calcium deficiency? Because of the vitamin D deficiency. That's why the detective hat has to go on. Why are these things so? So many people are low in vitamin D, thus low in the minerals. Many have been given the wrong message on fat. They've stopped the fat, so they're hungry all day, so they're overdoing the carbohydrates, which overworks the pancreas. The pancreas getting weary, stops producing the insulin, and the glucose can't get in. Can you see this scenario? Water can't get in, minerals can't get in, glucose can't get in, and when you think about it, this is the CBD, this is the central business district of the whole of the human body, inside the cell. The body says, we've got a crisis here. We can't get the basic nutrients and requirements for this CBD to function in. So the body says, we've got one more thing up our sleeve. We'll just force it in. What's that called? Blood pressure. That's what blood pressure is. It's a pressure building up to force these things in the cell because we're at a crisis level. So what is the cause of high blood pressure? There are many causes. But let me write this down for you so you can put it together. High blood pressure. And with some people, it'll be every one of these points. And with some people, it won't be. That's why the detective hat has to be put on. High blood pressure can be caused by dehydration. In dehydration, little capillary networks shut down to try and conserve full blood volume. That builds up pressure. High blood pressure can be caused by no salt. High blood pressure can be caused by table salt. High blood pressure can be caused by no greens, no magnesium, water can't get in. High blood pressure can be caused by no sun, no vitamin D, minerals can't get in. High blood pressure can be caused because of inactivity. When you exercise, you get the circulation of the blood out of the internal organs or areas of the body and out to the extremity, which takes pressure off the heart. High blood pressure can be caused because of a high sugar, high carbohydrate diet. We'll say high sugar, high wheat. Earlier in the week, I showed you how this wheat is getting that blood sugar level up too high, wearing out the pancreas. It can be caused because of a no-fat diet with probably small amounts of margarine, and of course no fat is referring nothing at all. No fat, we'll say, or margarine. Wow. You see, there's more to high blood pressure than meets the eye. High blood pressure can be caused of constant Distress. I don't say stress because everyone has a bit of stress in their life, and one man said to me, I love stress, it keeps me working hard. I get heaps done. So then I had to define distress. Constant distress is wearing for the body. That's why if there's constant distress, you have to find out why and what can be done to alleviate that. With some people, it's one or two. With some people, it might be all of them. And if you don't turn the tap off, you're still going to be mopping up in the other corner. What's also necessary to keep that blood nice and thin to prevent high blood pressure is blood thinners. So let me give you a list of blood thinners. There's no need for rat poison, warfarin. Did you know that that's what warfarin is? It is rat poison. And there are far more powerful things that can be used that don't have the danger of the side effect of the warfarin. You know, there's a lot of information coming out now reassessing whether aspirin is really thinning that blood effectively. One newspaper article on research done 6 months ago, this is early 2014, they're finding out that aspirin's causing brain bleeds. But you can thin the blood beautifully without any dangers of these drugs that I mentioned. Water. Ideally 2 to 2.5 litres per day. I'm going to define water in a minute. That keeps the blood thin. And as we looked at earlier in the week, it needs to be taken between meals, not with meals. Celtic salt or the whole salt, together with water, keeps that blood nice and thin. Cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is a remarkable herb. You might be familiar with Jethro Kloss's book, Back to Eden. Jethro Kloss devotes half a page to every herb, 10 pages to cayenne pepper, a remarkable herb. A fantastic blood thinner. It is known to strengthen arterial walls. It's even known to repair heart muscle. If you're not used to it, just have a little bit every day. You'll get used to it. I'm used to it now. One person said, but it burns. I said, not for long, just for a few minutes. It'll pass. You know how the police were using capsicum spray? Do you know that after that experience, the criminal who got the capsicum spray in his eyes, he would have better eyesight? Yes, it debilitates. Oh, yes, it hurts. But the next day, he'd be able to see better. Yes, if you're brave, you can try it. Cayenne pepper in the eye. It doesn't sting for long, briefly, and it never hurts. One doctor in Back to Eden, he said it's impossible to abuse cayenne pepper and it will never burn. It feels like it is, but it will never harm the tissues. Garlic, there's a lot of information coming out now, has been really for the last 10 years, on what a powerful herb garlic is regarding the blood and regarding the heart. Another blood thinner is ginger. Ginger's a remarkable herb. It's a potent anti-inflammatory herb, but it also is a blood thinner. So you can grate some ginger, pour boiling water on it, delicious tea. Or you can put it in all your stir fries, put it in every legume dish, delicious. And yet it's thinning your blood. Omega-3, with its 3 double bonds, is a blood thinner. So there's your chia seed, there's your flaxseed, and the nut that is the highest in omega-3 is the walnut. So as you can see by my list here, there is no need to take drugs that have their possible side effects. We need to keep that blood nice and thin. Remember, it's the life of the flesh. We have a book in our library. We also sell this book, and it's called One of the Body's Many Cries for Water, and the whole book is on water. It would probably be one of the most interesting books that I have ever read. Dr. Batman Gehaldi, we'll call him Dr. B because it's a difficult name. He goes into every single organ, every single part of the body, and how it is affected by full hydration and how it is affected by dehydration. There are two other titles to his book. Well, the first title is One of the Body's Many Cries for Water. The other title is He's Not Sick, He's Thirsty. Another title is Don't Treat Thirst with Medications. He was a political prisoner in India. I think it was early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And in the hospital there were a lot of sick people, and he only had one thing that he could use, and that was water. So no matter what the problem was, he'd give them a glass of water. 15 minutes later, he'd give them another glass of water. 15 minutes later, he'd give them another glass of water. He only did it because that's all he had. But he noticed as the days and the weeks went by, people were recovering. People with constipation were no longer constipated. People with stomach ulcers were no longer suffering from stomach ulcers. You see, the lining of the stomach has a thick mucosa wall on it, and mucus is 99% water. And he shows in dehydration, it's one of the first places that we lose water is the stomach. Inside that mucosa lining, there's sodium bicarbonate, designed to neutralize stomach acid if it tries to come through. Well, in this tiny little layer here, there's no sodium bicarbonate. So very easy for the hydrochloric acid to start eating little holes in the lining of the stomach. He claims at the writing of his book to have healed 3,000 cases of stomach ulcer with water alone. He shows that a glass of water half an hour before a meal thickens that mucosa wall. Our hydrochloric acid is made from water. Today is Wednesday. Yesterday, Tuesday, I needed to drink 2 glasses of water so my liver could make enough hydrochloric acid for breakfast this morning. Yesterday, I needed to drink 2 glasses of water, another 2, so my liver could make enough hydrochloric acid for lunch today. And if a person eats 3 meals, that's 6 glasses of water the day before just to make the digestive juices. Wow. That's only digestion. That's not even mentioning all the other body parts. You see, our water loss in a day, I looked at this a little earlier, so I'll recap it. Out of the kidneys, our water loss in a day is approximately 1.5 litres. Via our skin, it is approximately 0.5 of a litre. Out of our colon, it is approximately 0.3 of a litre. If someone has diarrhea and are diarrheaing a lot, it could come up to 0.5, even 1 litre. And out of our lungs, for every exhalation there is moisture, 0.2 of a litre. So that's a 2.5 litre loss every day. And have you noticed we've got no reserve tank on the back? The only water that goes in is the water we put in. And that's what Dr. B's book is all on. He says one of the first places it's felt is the stomach. Another, of course, is digestion. When we don't have enough water to make the digestive juices, which are the enzymes that break our food down. He also showed that in the pancreas, it is affected by dehydration. Let me show you. In the pancreas, it releases it releases 4 digestive enzymes in the gut. So we'll put gastrointestinal tract. In the pancreas, pancreatic lipase is released, and it does the final breakdown of fat. Pancreatic amylase does the final breakdown on starch. And trypsin, I'll just do a trip here, it does the breakdown of protein. And chymotrypsin, it also does the breakdown of protein. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 enzymes released from the pancreas that finalise digestion. Most people don't realise that the pancreas is probably the main organ of digestion. When people die of pancreatic cancer, they usually die of malnutrition because they haven't got the final breakdown of their food, so their food can't get out of their gastrointestinal tract and into their blood, so they basically die of malnutrition. The pancreas also releases 2 hormones from the blood, and this is glycogen and insulin. Now those hormones are released into the blood, and they're the ones that control our blood glucose levels. If they go too high, insulin gets it down. If they go too low, glycogen gets it up. These hormones are constantly balancing the glucose levels in our blood. Very important organ is the pancreas. All of these hormones and these ones here are made from water. So a person can develop diabetes, digestive problems, all because they're dehydrated. Let's move on down to the colon. One of the main functions of the colon is to take water out so stools are formed. If the body is dehydrated, more water gets taken out than should be taken out, then we get rabbit pellets, cement, basically there's constipation. Very difficult to have 3 evacuations a day, which Dr. Kellogg said is a necessity if you're having 3 intakes a day in a dehydrated person.